36 years ago, Kirk Schmoke became the first African-American elected as Baltimore City's mayor. Flash forward 36 years later, his once former intern is Maryland's first African-American governor.
Maryland is the state that produced Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, Thurgood Marshall.
Kirk Schmoke and political activist and Professor Larry Gibson join us this morning. Their perspective on what led to this moment and what they believe lies ahead for the Moore administration. Plus,
I also got a full ride.
And I think it was 15.
I've been accepted to 6.
And later paving their own paths through their creative voices. This morning, the journey these Baltimore School for the Arts students are about to embark on as they prepare for college. And hello everyone, I'm Jason Newton. Welcome to this edition of 11 TV Hill. All this month here at WBAL TV, we're highlighting the achievements of Black Marylanders. Regardless of political party, Governor Wes Moore's election was an historic moment for the state. But he is far from the first African American to break barriers here in Maryland. Now, as Governor Moore begins his term, we get the perspective from two men who are no strangers to breaking barriers themselves. Joining us now is former Baltimore Mayor Kirk Schmoke and University of Maryland law professor Larry Gibson. Thank you both for coming by. Good to see you both.
Well, thank you very much. Good City College, man. Great to see you.
All three of us. How about that, right?
All three.
I invited you on as we talk about in Black History Month, a big occasion here in Annapolis as Maryland sees its very first Black governor. I'm just wondering from your perspective as, you know, political titans in our area, what it means for you to see Wes Moore take the helm.
I'm going to defer to Larry on that only because, you know, Larry Gibson has been involved in as a political strategist in just about every election where African Americans have made progress in first our city, then the state, and in the country, and internationally. So right. I'll defer to him on that one.
Well, the international, much of this is the fault of Kirk Schmoke. I mean, I'll never forget when he invited me to go with him to Madagascar to run a campaign for president of Madagascar. And so, no, this is an exciting time. We are going to see a period where much of the leadership is going to be provided by Black men. And, you know, the brothers have their own style of doing things and a kind of creativity to it. We're talking about African-American men heading the state of Maryland, the Attorney General of Maryland. In Baltimore, the four top elected officers, the mayor, president of city council, controller, and the state's attorney. So we're going to see a special kind of opportunity and leadership by African-American men. And I think it's going to be a positive.
And I'll say this before you go, for me at least growing up, because there'll be a lot of people say, well, we should care more about what the person can do and not the color of their skin. And I guess my example is as a young child growing up, and I guess I should say young child, Mr. Schmoke, but growing up for me, seeing you as the mayor, there was a lot for self-esteem, I would say, for a lot of people, for us, because I saw of what was possible. And I'm guessing we focus on color right now because for a lot of kids, seeing Wes Moore is an example of what is possible.
Well, I think Wes Moore will be an inspirational leader to a lot of people, and you know, regardless of color. I mean, he's demonstrated strong character, and in all the efforts that he's been in, whether it's military leadership on that Robin Hood Foundation, and the fact that you know, he's been living in Baltimore, raising his children here, I think will benefit the city. But it will have a strong impact on the whole state with the vision that he's laid out and the program. So I'm very excited about it. And yeah, I think during Black History Month, we can pause and take pride in his accomplishments.
Talk to me about the city of Baltimore. I think a lot of folks see this possibly as an opportunity for the city to do some growth, have some growth. With, I guess, what would be perceived as an ally in Annapolis. Tell me what the city needs right now and what he might be able to deliver.
Well, part of what the city has gotten is someone who seems to understand what a fantastic city it is and what its potential is. I've traveled all over the world, about 75 nations. I don't think Bolivians understand fully the potential of the city. It's special, for example, its relationship with the water. I mean, there are many cities that have some of these things, but I don't know of another city in the world that in 1 mile, 1 square mile, you have two professional ballparks, the aquarium, the convention center, World Trade Center, the hotels, Broadway theaters, and it is in a wealthy state. And throughout his campaign, Wes Moore seemed to understand the special promise of the city, but some of the problems are connected to African American males, and I think with his leadership, they're going to be a lot of the solution.
Yeah, I think on policy, as Larry said, Wes is going to build on the strengths of the city. So in the area, I think there will be 3 specific areas that he's going to help us with. One is transportation, and because he recognizes that's important to get people to jobs. So I think the Red Line will be resuscitated. The other will be in education, where he'll be a good partner there, and then public safety. We've got to really have people, feeling safe throughout the city. And so in those 3 policy areas, I think that he will be a great partner with the city.
Got just a couple minutes left, and Mr. Smoke, I just get you to talk about your personal connection, because you saw the governor as he was thinking about running for governor years ago. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of having Wes Moore in my office when I was mayor. My students remind me I was mayor in the last century. So, yeah, Wes was my intern, and I encouraged him at that time to apply for a Rhodes Scholarship, because he just seemed to me a great classic example of a good scholar athlete. And he's done some remarkable things, after that graduation. And so the whole message, a friend sent me a note, said, when he showed a picture of me and Wes as an intern, said, "Be kind to interns." That's the message that we should give.
Well, gentlemen, it's an absolute honor to always see, and of course, for people who don't know, the City College connection. If he had only gone to City, we could have added that in to it. Good to see you both. Thank you.
Thank you. Best to you.
Take care.